NASCAR has dropped the hammer on Chase Briscoe and the 14 team for breaking the rules and what currently is the largest penalty from NASCAR during the next gen era. NASCAR has they shouldn't say randomly selected. They took the 14 car of Chase Briscoe following the race at the Coke 600 on Monday in Charlotte for an R&D inspection. What they found was shocking. NASCAR has found the 14 team guilty of an L3 penalty for counterfeiting a next gen part. What that means is that the crew chief, John Klausmeier, will be suspended for the next 6 races, fined $250,000, and Chase Briscoe and the 14 team will be docked 120 driver owner points as well as lose 25 playoff points, meaning he's going to have negative 25 playoff points if he can somehow make the playoffs. According to Ellen Sawyer, Senior Vice President of Competition at NASCAR, he said that the issue was a counterfeit engine NACA duct. In a surprising twist, the team stated that they will accept the L3 penalty and will not appeal NASCAR's decision. Greg Zipadelli said in a team statement that we had a quality control lapse and a part that never should have been on a car going to the racetrack ended up on the 14 car at Charlotte. When asked on how then Peace could have aided performance, Sawyer said Wednesday that knowing the race team mentality, they don't do things that would not be a benefit to them in some way, shape, or form from a performance advantage. Now that's very interesting that he says that, because did y'all not watch the race on Monday? That 14 car was horrible. They were as low as 35th for a good part of the early portions of the race. They were getting beaten by JJ Yeley in a 15 car at Rick Ware Racing. They were getting beat by people like that, which I don't know how you're that far off when you're a team like Stewart-Haas Racing. They ended up finishing 20th, but still, they had a horrible performance, and who knows? Because yes, they got caught today, but who knows how long they've had this part. They could have had this part for weeks on end, which if that's the case, that's even worse because they have been horrible virtually the entire year. Now, Bozy, I can't pronounce his last name and I'm not going to try to. On Twitter, if you haven't checked him out, you should. Basically posted a full thread about what the part is and what was probably counterfeited on it. So this is what the part looks like on the next gen car, this area right here. And obviously, counterfeit means that you make it yourself, which that's a big no-no. The only thing you can do with the new era, new culture of NASCAR, they're trying to eliminate that gray area, single source parts, meaning you buy at a shop. And parts like that, you buy out of shop. You do not make it yourself. Obviously, Stewart-Haas Racing built that part themselves. And according to NASCAR, that part there, you see that little arrow where it's pointing at, that part was smaller than what NASCAR originally planned the next gen car parts to look like. So that's why they were caught cheating. Now, obviously, the way you manipulate that is because, you know, the bigger or the smaller the air or the duct is affects how the downforce is on the car and how you race around cars. So obviously they manipulate that to try and make it more aero deficient. So obviously they manipulated it to make it more aero efficient than normal, which obviously didn't work, which I just don't get, because again, we enter this new era of NASCAR with this next gen car, something that the team signed off because costs were getting too high. It'd become an arms race. Whoever had the most money was always going to get ahead. NASCAR signed off, or the team signed off with NASCAR to create this new era where we're buying now, you know, single source supplies. We're buying out of shop instead of building it in shop. They signed off on that. So them trying to manipulate and trying to then make their own things, it is kind of funny. It's kind of interesting, but yeah. This is all but kills that 14 team season for Chase Briscoe. He's not like a William Byron or a Kyle Larson where he can win races, like 5-6 races, so that he can get out of that negative 25 point playoff bump. I mean, at max, maybe around a 16 exit. But the way that 14 team is running, I don't even think they're gonna make the playoffs. I mean, they have been horrible. Everyone at SHR outside of Kevin Harvick has been horrible. Harvick is 4th in the standings. The next SHR driver is Eric Almirola, 25th. Then Ryan Preece, 27th. And then Chase Briscoe, 31st in points. Yeah, he goes from 17th to 31st in points. Some people may say, oh, he may be around 16 exit. I don't even think he's going to make the playoffs. Like, I don't think he has the speed to win. And definitely, he cannot point his way in the way that 14 team has been running these past few weeks. So it is going to be extremely, extremely difficult for that 14 team to show any type of speed good enough to maybe win a race. At the very least, they can't point the way in, but maybe win a race. I don't know. It's going to be very tough to do, maybe on a road course. But I do find it funny how another part that I find very interesting about that is that Greg Zipadelli said that the team made a mistake. I call BS on that. Again, knowing how NASCAR teams are, how they operate, things like that, whenever they get caught with something, get caught cheating with something, 9 times out of 10, they've been doing this for weeks. So to say it's a mistake, I'd find that hard to believe. I believe they've had this part on for some time. And again, you know how NASCAR, sometimes, they don't need a reason. They'll just say, hey, we want to tear down your car. We want to take a look at it. They can do that. No reason at all. They can do that to any car on the field. So I think they were just, they decided to make this change, trying to bank on getting a win, trying to see how far we can push the line. Ultimately, they went over it, and it was for no reason, because depending on how long they've had this part, it has done zero effect. In fact, I'll argue it's done even worse. It hasn't done anything good for SHR. But yeah, not a good year for the Chases. If you're a fan of Chases, this week has sucked for you. But yeah, it's going to be very interesting to see how the 14 team plays out for the remainder of the season, as well as Stewart-Haas Racing as a whole, because you have Almirola worrying about pushing Bubba than actually trying to finish races inside the top 15. Ryan Preece, he had that one good run at Martinsville, but outside of that, hasn't done really anything. And obviously, Chase Briscoe hasn't done anything at all. I'm very, very curious. There's going to be a microscope on SHR post-2023, because with Harvick leaving, yeah, Josh Berry, more than likely, Josh Berry will take over that 4 car. Ronnie Childress may be there for a couple more years, but it is quite shocking. And I understand that with the new car, there are going to be some teams that do well, some teams that won't do well on this one. But I have never seen a fall like this from a team like SHR. This is a powerhouse, a championship team, to go from winning races. You had all 4, outside of Danica, all 4 relatively contenders, either winning races or at the very least being competitive. In 2018, all 4. Kurt Busch, Kevin Harvick, Eric Almirola, and Clint Bowyer were all either winning races or being competitive, to now only one driver is inside the top 20 in points. It's quite a fall from grace, and I think that trend is just going to continue to fall for SHR. But what are your thoughts on this announcement? What are your thoughts on the penalty? Let me know in the comment section down below. Until next time, my name is Jett from MDK, and I'll see y'all next time.